Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ask the Agent. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For those who are tuned in for the first time, I am your host, Sharina George. I am your Central Florida Realtor focused on helping you find your next investment property here in Central Florida. All right, so Ask the Agent is an opportunity for many of you who are looking to buy a property, sell your home, or even invest to receive the answers to your questions. I know there's so many things floating around your mind. What are the interest rates and how does this affect me? And is it a good time to buy right now? Is it a good time to sell? Well, on Mondays at 6 p.m., this is my opportunity to come before you with other experts that are in the village. I do believe that it takes a village of professionals to help you to either purchase a property or sell a property, right? You're going to need mortgage, you're going to need title, photography, maybe some drone footage. You're going to need the real estate agent, right? You're going to need so many individuals that the inspectors, the appraisers, you're going to need so many individuals that are so vital to making this a successful transaction that on Mondays at 6, it's an opportunity for you to kind of hear some of the wisdom and advice from some of those who are in the village. So, if you guys saw on the flyer, let me show the flyer on the screen. We do have Rocky Sanchez as well as Ted Bogart on this evening. I'm so excited to have them as my guests to answer your questions. I know that you guys are probably noticing something different. I am live on Facebook right now as well as YouTube. Generally, I'm live on YouTube only, but I am on Facebook right now. So, the way that this works, you guys, for the next 30, 40 minutes, if you have questions regarding real estate for our mortgage loan officer or the real estate agent, Rocky Sanchez, or myself, you can post those right in the comments. We'll read them here on live. If we don't get to your question, we'll definitely table that to next Monday. So at this time, I'm going to bring on my guests. Thank you so much for tuning in live. And thank you for those who are watching the playback. We are live right now, so please excuse any interferences. You know that when you are live, you are live. So, all right, at this time, I'm going to bring on Ted Bogart. How are you this Monday evening?
What's up, Sharina? Happy Monday. How's it
Hey,
going?
pretty good, pretty good. We also have Rocky in the house
Hey,
fighting for the
Sharina.
home.
How you doing? Hi, Ted. How's it going?
How's it going, Rocky? Now I can see. How's it going?
Wonderful. It's wonder. I'm so blessed and so grateful to be here and with the both of you guys. It's gonna be a good time.
Me too. I love
Yes,
it.
yes. I'm excited, you guys. So before we jump into your questions, go ahead and start to, type those in. Think about what you want to ask. We're going to have my experts this evening tell us just a little bit about themselves so you'll know who you have before you as a part of the village on this evening. So, Rocky, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Rocky Sanchez, and I'm excited to be here. I am a real estate agent in the Central Florida market. I've been licensed just over 6 years. I am I'm passionate about helping people, changing lives, and making a difference, not only within my community, with my buyers and sellers, but also my fellow agents. I am currently vice chair of our diversity council, and I'm actually running for the board of directors for Aura. So excited.
Awesome, awesome. I
Wonderful.
love how you're
Mhm.
always growing, moving, looking to make people better, and in that process, make yourself better as well. So I love that you're continuing to grow, continuing to move, and to just thrive, as a woman in real estate. All right, Ted, talk to us a little bit
Hello.
about yourself
Hey,
tonight.
guys. I'm not a woman in real estate. My name is Ted Bogert. Rhymes with yogurt. I'm a loan originator at Homelendia Mortgage Group. We're a mortgage brokerage firm. Mortgage brokerage firms are a little bit different. We have a lot of different products and services that we can offer that a direct lender can't. But there's always room for everybody. I love everyone. I'm super involved in Aura, in the Real Estate Alliance, in Women's Council. I love giving back to the community. And I also love to do that through my show, which is a podcast called The TED Show, which is just celebrated our 6th anniversary. I've been here for 47 years in Orlando, so I know the market really well. And I'm excited to be here.
Yes, listen, everyone. Ted is a walking phone book, may I say. If you need someone in business, someone, period, like Ted is your guy. I remember I was trying to go see some art, in Orlando. And I'm like, I like to just go to just a nice little museum, walk around and look at the art. I wonder who I can ask about art. Of course, Ted. I'm like, Ted, do you know a good art gallery? Oh, yes, Sharina. I can send you the information. So if you guys need information, list Ted is your guy. He's very personable, very friendly. I remember when I met you, Ted, as well as you, Rocky, at the Women's Council Pivoting in a Changing Market. I met both of you there, and I just absolutely fell in love with your spirit, with your zeal for what you do, your knowledge, your education, continuing to grow. And you guys just look amazing. Like, really.
Thank you. You too.
Well, you too, girl.
That's
Listen, it's
right. You
all about
too.
who's in your circle, and I'm proud to have you both in my circle, most
Amen.
definitely.
Me too.
Yes, yes. So we're going to start with our first question, you guys, while we wait on you guys to put your live questions in. We're going to start off with Ted. Ted, talk to us a little bit about the big deal. The Hometown Hero program has been made available by our governor, DeSantis, and we're really grateful that, it is available here in Florida. I know last year it was available to, VA, to those who nurses, first responders, but recently, July 1st has been opened up to all with 100 million funding. And I know that we're running a little low right now, but tell us a little bit about the program.
So, Hometown Heroes, yeah, we should definitely talk about it because it's on everybody's mind. I get a couple of questions about it every day, probably more than a couple. So, Hometown Heroes, like you said, Sharina, was originally for first responders, teachers, veterans, nurses, anyone that is a hero. There were 60 some occupations people could be in. And then July 1st, we opened it up to all first time home buyers. Like you said, there was around 100 million put in. As of last week, we're down to about 20 million of that's left. And so the great thing about the program is you can also get up to $35,000 toward your closing costs or down payment. So they raised that July 1st. It used to be 25,000. Now it's 35,000. Here's the there's everything about the program is wonderful. The problem right now is that the funds are running out. We keep getting a weekly update of how little funds are left. And so we don't know yet if they're going to replenish the funds, but it's still available. And I just want to encourage anybody on the fence, if you fall into the first time home buyer world of any occupation, now is the time for you to talk to your lender, talk to your realtor, and get it in before the funding goes out. Once it's in, they will honor it, is what we're told. So get in before they put a complete moratorium on it. But it's a beautiful program. We've closed a bunch. It just really helps people get over that hump, get them out of renting, and get them into their dream home.
Yes, and that's so important that a lot of times the barrier to home ownership is definitely entry. The barrier that a lot of people face is really coming up with those closing costs and that down payment. And so I'm really grateful that, Florida has opened this program up. Rocky, are some of your clients using these funds?
Absolutely. So I took advantage. I love first time home buyers. Those were the buyers that I first worked with when I got into the business, and honestly, they are the ones that keep me going and really keep my business with referrals and whatnot. However, love the Hometown Heroes. I used it when it first rolled out as well. And I had a buyer that moved in. I mean, mind your rates were a little bit lower at the time, but I had a buyer that moved into a home with essentially $4,000, and that's including inspections and appraisals and paying just a few grand of their closing costs. So honestly, I love the program. I think it's fantastic. And like Ted said, if you're on the fence, just jump, because rates are, they're trending. I mean, I'll let you talk about rates, but honestly,
That's the best way to do it. They're trending, all
they're
right.
trending all right. They sure are. But honestly, I think it's a great program. It's a great resource to utilize, especially if you need any of that assistance to keep a cushion in your pocket for moving expenses and new furniture.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, and I agree because I mean, I think at some point in all of our lives, we're going to rent, but I think it becomes a bit more of a negative when we're renting long term. You know, if we just got out of college and we're renting a few years, or we're renting a few years until we get married and things like that. I think that that's appropriate. But if you think about it, for you guys who are out there listening, who may be renters and you're here in Florida, after 10 years of living in someone's home, you've not only paid down their mortgage, their principal, which increases their equity over the 10 years. I say that $250,000 home has appreciated to, let's just throw out a number of 310. You don't get to take advantage of that $60,000 worth of appreciation that has happened over that 10-year span. And so, with programs like this is an opportunity for you to sometimes pay what you're paying right now, maybe a little more, a little less, but then be closer to being an actual to 100% ownership in this home. And guess what? If you want to move, this home can be sold. This home can be aired. This is an investment at the end of the day, you know, your home. So, Ted, talk to us a little bit about in your experience and working in the mortgage industry for as long as you have, being able to encourage individuals to go from renting to being a buyer. Because I know they say, hey, I got to take care of so much more things. I got to take care of the yard. Being a homeowner comes with so much responsibility. How have you tackled that?
What? We don't want to talk about that. No, I'm kidding. Yes, it is. So there is a lot to home ownership, but the great thing about it is rents will continue to go up. If you live in Central Florida, if you live in Florida, Central Florida specifically, these are the rents are not going down. They are absolutely not going down. And so you're going to continue to see this spike. We have an affordable housing issue here in Florida, which we talk about at Aura and at Florida Realtors and nationally all the time. And I think that if you want to continue to see that and don't want a piece of any kind of pie, don't want your own yard, then yeah, you're probably good in an apartment if that doesn't matter to you. But most Americans, most people want to own something. They want to own their own home. They want to have that pride and that value, that growing value you talked about, that equity that grows in the home. It is a large, huge, you're probably your largest purchase. We talk about that all the time, but it's certainly something that you can do with what you want as long as you're making that mortgage payment. But yes, I think the rates are what scares people. I'm from an old era and we used to have double digit rates. So are they higher than 2020 and 2021? They absolutely are, even than 2022. But you are still paying less here once you get into your home than you probably are paying for rent. And your credit cards, I can almost guarantee you, you're paying a whole lot more in interest rates. So it's all about how you frame it and how you look at it. And if you can afford the payment properly and you work with a lender who understands what your budgeting is, then I think it is the best move that you could make is to get out of renting and get into a home.
Yes, and I truly do agree with you, Ted. And just to add a layer on top of that is a lot of you guys who are listening and watching right now, or even watching a playback, may not know that with the Hometown Hero program or even FHA financing, you're able to get a duplex, a triplex, or even a quad where you can live in one as your primary residence and rent out the other three as income, you guys. So literally, you're able to use OPM, other people's money, that's the best money to use, to be able to enter the world of investing, you guys. Isn't that amazing that FHA and the Hometown Hero program didn't limit it to just a single family residence where you can get your duplex or your triplex? If you don't want to take on a quad at this time, you can at least have a duplex where you have that rental income coming from the one unit to help pay down your mortgage. In your experience, Rocky, have you helped individuals find single family as well as multiple families? Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So I wanted to touch base on something that Ted had also said about renters turning into buyers. So I'm working with a client right now who the rental, what they're paying in rent was astronomically high, and they're only going to increase the rent. But with a little bit of rate buy down, we were able to get them into the home with that, then they're paying less than what their monthly rent is
Correct.
currently. And I've helped buyers purchase. I've actually had a buyer who did the house hacking with the duplex. They used FHA to move into one to one side, and then they rented out the other side, which was essentially paying their mortgage. So I think that's such a great thing to utilize. And I was just having a conversation with another agent today, and I asked him, I said, listen, why, are you targeting those people you went to high school with? And he's in his early 20s. And his response was, my generation isn't buying. I said, no, 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 that's not it. You have to kind of like lay it out for them, and the younger generations, they want a good deal, right? Or they want to be creative and find ways to build that wealth, and ways to do that is through the house hacking method. As long, of course, they're living in one, renting out the other.
Right.
That right there, I think, is a brilliant way to utilize the funds that we're talking about. But another one is a great way to get into a home with a reasonable interest rate is a rate buy down too.
Yes. Really, really great advice, Rocky,
So good.
from our expert on this evening. If you guys are out there watching and you're just tuning in, if you have questions about real estate, you guys, mortgage, interest rate, how to buy, how does the process of selling work, tonight is your night. Answer your question, ask your questions. We have your answers. All right, Ted, I do have a live question for you. So
Surely.
what is the difference between a mortgage broker and basically like a regular lender?
I love this question because I have done both. And so a lender, a direct lender, a lender who has one, usually has one product, comes from one company. They have just whatever that particular company offers. I'm a mortgage broker. And the reason I like that is think of me as your independent insurance agent who shops your homeowner insurance or your auto insurance. So as a mortgage broker, I have lots of companies that have lots of types of programs within them. So I take your particular piece of the puzzle and all of that together, and then I shop it for you. I find out what the best rate is with the best terms based on your situation, and I'm not limited. I don't have to say no very often. I haven't said it in a very long time. So it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish as a buyer or an investor. So I believe for me personally, a mortgage broker is the best way to go because if one says no, there's 10 others that are going to say yes. And it's just a better place from a consumer perspective to be.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that because it is a lot of the question that a lot of individuals have. And even when I kind of really dug into real estate really deep, I was like, well, what is the difference between, the loan officer, the mortgage broker? So thank you, Ted, for giving us some clarification. Rocky, I'm going to ask this question to you from Leah. Okay, so which professional should come first in the process of buying a home? Mortgage, realtor, can one inform the other, or should I take the same questions to each person?
I love that question, Leah, by the way. Hi, Leah Thomas.
And then, hey, Leah. No, that is a fantastic question. So, honestly, I think it depends. It depends on whom you have the relationship with, right? You're going to want to work with somebody that you like and trust. And we were just talking about this earlier. And that realtor or loan officer, they're going to partner you with somebody that they like and trust and that they believe is going to get you to the finish line. Something that Ted said, what I love about, and I was raving inside like with excitement, is that, I personally love working with mortgage brokers who are going to get us to the finish line. If option A doesn't work, we've got a whole alphabet. So let's figure it out, right? So I think it's important that you find somebody that you already really genuinely like, you trust, check reviews. I mean, honestly, vet them, come with questions. And I'm a firm believer that you should interview. If you have two people that you like that are real estate agents, interview both of them because it depends. You're not going to vibe with everybody the same. My personality doesn't mesh well with everyone's, and that's okay. But I think you find somebody that you really, really like, genuinely, whether it is the mortgage broker or the realtor, and they will partner you with someone that they personally know that will take good care of you.
Perfect.
Yes,
That was
so
so good.
well said, Rocky. And Ted, I was thinking about something that we were talking about pre-show, talking about communication, and I love when I'm working with one of my clients, my investor clients, and I'm looking for a property for them. I love being able to call or to text the lender and to get updates and to really have that smooth communication, because in this process we are like married for like 30 to 60 days. We are like
Or
we are in there with each other trying
joined
to
at
have
the
this
hip.
baby. I guess this is M-rated for the mature audience, but we are like in this relationship where we're pretty close. There's a transfer of money, there's information, there's inspections going on, there's all of these back and forth to
Mhm.
where that communication needs to be clear. What's your thoughts on that question, Ted?
God, this is like my number one conversation when I'm talking to my LOs, talking in general with real estate agents and with the buyers. Communication's everything. It literally is the thing that will make everything go beautifully or everything go south. And I think what happens in my industry, in the mortgage industry, we tend to bury our heads when there is anything that might be negative or perceived as negative. If it's not the exact news the buyer or the realtor want, uh, lenders in general, they don't communicate quick enough. They try to find a fix. I'm of the complete opposite belief. The minute that that I find something out that may or may not be positive for you all on the other side of the transaction, I let you know. And I think that's so important because we together, like you said, are a village trying to work on this. You may have a solution. We may be assuming something on the lending side that you all have a fix for. So it's just so important to communicate, communicate, communicate to the nth degree. And if you don't have a realtor and a lender who you have access to, I'm a big believer in access. So if you work until 9 o'clock at night and you need me to be available for you, then yes, I'm the right lender for you. If your lender isn't or your realtor isn't, they may not be the right person for you. You have to find that person that meshes with you and has the kind of communication that you want.
Yes, and I can appreciate that you just said that, Ted, because it's not always about just likability per se, because it's like, oh, this is my best friend, so I'm going to use them as an agent. Well, are they going to get the job done? Are they going to stay professional with you? Is this, going to fit your personality and what you're looking for? And I love what you said a little earlier, Rocky, that I don't mesh well with everyone, and that's okay. Like, that's perfectly fine that everyone isn't my client, but when it is my client, I'm going to give my client gold, right? Rocky, the customer experience, the client experience. Tell us a little bit about the client experience with Rocky. If I called you tonight and I said, hey, Rocky, I watched the show, I'm looking to buy a home in Central Florida, what's the next steps with you, Rocky?
Well, most definitely. I mean, I will answer the phone if you prefer the evenings. That's something that I will definitely be on the phone with. But I would love to get to know you. I have a questionnaire. I want to find out your needs. What's your why? Why are you buying or selling? And what's next for you, right? Because I love to have a plan of action from start to finish. And but I also want to know, like I said, the needs. Because if I'm partnering up with a lender, I want to make sure it's a lender that's going to best suit you. Now, it's not just my own personality, right? I have some buyers who want the numbers and that's it, and I have some that need a little fluff, and I've got lenders for that too. But it depends on, that we just have to communicate, and I have to do those discovery questions. And then from there, I love to, like I said, communication is really big. They call me a hover agent sometimes. So,
I love that.
I know. I take it as a compliment because I'm like, yeah, I want to know everything that's happening. And so what I do is I will connect the client or the buyer, or if it's a seller, then not this case, but I will connect the buyer with the lender on either a group chat or a three-way phone call, just so I can say, hey, I want to introduce you. But at the end of the day, I'm still here. I am your go-to person. If you have questions, again, this is why it's so important to communicate and connect with your loan partner, because the buyer is going to come to you with questions, and you want to know exactly everything that you want to be able to answer those questions. And if you don't have those answers, you want to be able to reach out to the loan partner and explain that. And something that Ted, you said as well, about the problem being very solution based is super important. So whether something you'll get with me as your professional is that I will never come with you with a problem without a solution.
Yes.
So, we may have a problem, but don't you worry, we're already figured it out. Ted and I may have been up like for hours racking our brain, but we figured it out.
100%.
So,
And can I add something, Sharina, to that? One thing about communication too, one of the biggest issues that I think realtors and lenders make, one of the mistakes they make is they communicate to the buyer in a way that's comfortable for the realtor and lender. And what you have to do is really listen to how the buyer wants to be communicated. It could be all phone, it could be all email, it could be all text, it could be a
mhm,
combo. You have to meet them where they want to be met. They are our client, after all. They are our person, our customer, our consumer. And so just because you think you're communicating beautifully to them does not mean you are if you haven't listened to them as far as how they want to be communicated with. So just something important when I teach that a lot. When you communicate with people, meet them where they need to be met.
Yes, I really
100%.
like that you said that. I was watching a basically like a motivation for agents and anyone in the village, and they talked about, when getting on the phone or meeting with a client, if your client comes in and they're just, really excited and really motivated, really try to match that energy, even if you aren't the most exciting person to work with. Or if they walk in and they're really like Rocky, like you said, they just want to know numbers. Rocky, so what is my house worth?
Hmm.
How soon can you get it sold?
Yeah.
All right. And what is the commission again? Okay. I want it to be I just really matching that energy, I think is really important. And I think something else as well to kind of go to the other side a little bit, you guys, if you just bear with me for just a moment, that I think having standards as professionals is great too, you guys. Like, don't let your client, I mean, we care about you, we want to serve you, we want to give you our very best, but if I'm on date night with the hubby at 8 p.m. and you message me, I'm just going to shoot you a little and we're going to talk tomorrow. But just making sure, as well as clients, you guys that are listening, understand that the professional that you're working with, this is their own business. Like, even though they're in the company many times, this is their own company. And just being able to sometimes set those hours and set those parameters. And I like what you said, Rocky. If you want to work in the evenings because that works with your schedule, I'll work with you and meet you there. But I do primarily work, daytime hours. I think that having that nice balance. What are your thoughts, Ted? What are your thoughts?
No, I agree. I think if here's the deal, it's a relationship. So you have to set up the parameters and the boundaries and the expectations right away.
Yeah.
If you don't, you are going to all be disappointed, upset at some point. So if you say to your client, Sharina, hey, my hubby and I, we're going to be out every Friday night because that's date night. And I may text you back, but you're not going to hear from me on Saturday mornings, and they throw a fit. That's probably not the client for you. So you have to set those parameters. That's a great point. As a professional, you have to set the parameters. You have to be able to be upfront with them. And they will learn, they will grow into that. Trust me. Or you're going to know right away, this is never going to work.
That's good. They'll grow into that. What are your thoughts, Rocky?
I agree wholeheartedly. So something I struggled with when I first got into the business is I was saying yes to everything and everyone. And as much as I wanted to help, my purpose is to help people and definitely achieve this goal of home ownership or selling, getting you top dollar. It's something I truly, truly love to do. However, I got to a point where I was stretching myself so thin that I wasn't the best version of myself for my buyers and sellers. So I had to come to a realization that I needed to communicate with my buyers and sellers and let them know, hey, listen, at 8:30, I'm gonna shut it off because at 10 o'clock I turn into a pumpkin. So I, which is 10 o'clock is my bedtime. No,
I get
but
it.
yeah. So I had to create these realistic boundaries. But I promise you, if they respect you as a professional, they will respect those boundaries because then they'll realize that wow, she's she's organized, she is taking her job seriously but taking her self-care seriously, so that way when she wakes up tomorrow she's going to be 100% ready to tackle the next problem. But I
Yeah,
agree, healthy boundaries
I
are
do.
extremely important.
And I like what you said,
Yes.
Sharina, because if you said, but I know what you're going to do. Oh, Elvis. Hey, Elvis. That's Elvis Garcia. I liked what you said so much because if you send that little text, Sharina, to them and you say you're going to call the next morning, that's where a lot of people also fail. They don't do the call. If you tell somebody you're going to do something at a certain time, you need to be communicating with them if anything comes up, but you need to regularly be honoring that. And a lot of times people say, "Oh, I'll call you on Saturday morning," and it's 1:30 in the afternoon and I still don't have a phone call. So you have to you set the boundaries and the expectations, but you also have to deliver on it as a professional, in my opinion.
Oh, deliver on it sounds like a t-shirt, but it's time to deliver, agents. And I'll apologize on behalf of the many agents in the world who didn't call back on Saturday morning. Forgive us. We're trying to be better daily. I do have an observation about just that does that every now and then, how that little birdie takes the thought and kind of flies over to the other country over there. But I'm going to keep on going. I was thinking about open houses, Rocky, open houses. So in the day and time we live in, we know that we just came out of COVID or still somewhat transitioning. And we were in the house, and we were in the house with people we like, people we don't like. We were in the house, you guys. Can anybody feel me out there? Please put in the comments. I feel you, Sharina. But thankfully, everyone in my home I did like, but I did get on the phone with a couple that was like, listen, it's time for me to get out this house. But a lot of times, the open houses suffered, I think, because of that, Rocky. Of course, individuals weren't coming out to see the homes. There was a lot of virtual tours. There was a lot of camera and pictures and things like that. What's happening now with open houses as we approach September of 2023? What's happening?
So I love open houses. Let me tell you, I will open house no matter if it's my sixth year in real estate or my 16th year in real estate. The thing is that that's my opportunity to build a relationship with somebody that walks in that door. I'm a face to face person. So during COVID, I struggled so hard with virtual open housing. I struggled so hard without like interaction with people. I sometimes don't know when I sat here and just preach boundaries, but I don't really know personal space boundaries very well. So like I'm such a big hugger. But so my thing is that I love doing open houses. Some agents they don't enjoy doing it. However, the thing is because they're afraid, oh, it's a lot of work, or I'm gonna sit there and open house on a listing that may not be mine, and someone's gonna walk in and they already have an agent. Very possible. All of that could be very true. However, if it's marketed correctly, you have plenty of open house signs. Yes, I still do those Mylar star balloons. The Dollar Tree knows me. I call the night before. They're like, open house, got you. But the thing is that they can be very successful. I just recently hosted one in a far, far land of Poinciana, and I actually got two solid, genuine leads from it. They're pre-approved with no agent. So I believe in open houses. I wholeheartedly do, and I think now with the way the market has shifted and the way that things are changing, that's what's going to make you stand out from the other agents. Um, it's how hard you're going to work for the listing, how hard, how much are you going to put out there to really show that you have to work to get the job done. Open houses is coming back, so get comfortable with it if you want to survive in this market.
Yes, it reminds me when you just said get comfortable with it. It reminds me of just, the door knocking and just that face to face interaction. I think being a real estate agent or anyone in the village, I think it's a healthy combination of making sure your or social medias are strong. You're posting regularly about what you offer. You're posting regularly about your field. But then I think it's a healthy combination of that in-person interaction too, which brings me to you, Ted. I know you're not necessarily, door knocking or open housing. How is it that you generate leads, kind of, get more business?
First, I love open houses, so I do them all the time. I support them. I even have a group on Facebook that's just listed listings and open houses, and we're at over almost 500 agents. Like that to me is back to basics, and that's sort of been my theme for this last half of the year, going back to basics, doing things that we have forgotten to do, or we got really copacetic when the leads were just coming in and we were all order takers back in 2020 and 2021. Are everything to me. If you want to talk about communication, yes, but you have to build the relationships first. And so I'm a big believer in giving back. I get my referrals because I build an actual real relationship with my referral sources, with my realtors, with my brokers, with title agents, with builders. And I think people have forgotten that not everything is done on social media. People really still do want to have an actual relationship with you because, like Rocky said earlier, I think it was Rocky, they want to know, love, and trust you. They want to feel comfortable with you. And they can't really do that based on your social media posts. That only gives them a snippet of you. And so the only way to do that is to break bread with them, do events with them, help sponsor, help work with them and their marketing. And by them, I don't just mean real estate realtors. I mean investors and other people who are in the market who could refer you business. Build that rapport and build those relationships, but make it real. Don't just throw checks at it or money at it. Make it so it's long lasting. And I just think that's so important. That's how I built up my business over the last 30 years. And I would never go back to just buying leads or just door knocking. You need to build a relationship. That's my opinion.
Build those relationships. How have you decided to build your business, Rocky? What are some of the foundations of the Rocky Sanchez Realtor business?
Well, for me, I have a hospitality background, and before real estate, I wanted to be an overnight geriatric nurse. So if that doesn't say I love relationships more, then I
God
don't know.
bless you.
I know, right? It was like way too read. But honestly, for me, it's about staying. You have to stay true to yourself. Stay out, and I preach this so much about being authentically yourself because people are gonna see through the BS. They're gonna, like you said on social media, Ted. Social media, a lot of times people can fake it on there, but it's how are you in person? How are you in real life? And so for me, I think what has helped me in my business about building relationships is I want to know about, I had an investor. I'm gonna give a prime example. Um, Numbers person, but we sat together at an inspection because he had flew down in for an inspection, and it was my first time meeting him in person, and the inspector happened to be an hour late. So I was like, well, you know what? This is my opportunity to get to know you. So I learned all about him, his family, his kids, what does he do? What does he like to do? Things like that. I genuinely care to learn about people and their families, their wives, what they love to do. I genuinely want to. And it's the joke in the office is that I'll know birthdays, I'll know your kids' names, I'll know, I'll know everything about you because I genuinely care. And I feel that with that being said, people see that I fight hard for the deal, one, but it's not about the dollar. My business is relationship driven, and the dollar is just the benefit to pay my bills. But for me, I thrive off of building genuine, solid relationships with people. So, I mean, it's honestly been a blessing.
Amen. Amen.
Yes, I
Valentina's on there
agree.
too.
Valentina,
Hey,
yes.
Valentina. Hey, Valentina. She's like, Rocky.
Love it.
Awesome.
She's
I
awesome.
love the little emojis. I totally agree, you guys. I met with someone recently, can't remember the name, but they basically said, Sharina, on social media, but in person, like your social doesn't do you any justice. Like you're really an amazing person. Like to know you is to love you. And I agree, you guys, that we shouldn't be one way on socials, hey, everybody, and we're like angry and bitter and mean, when you finally meet us in person. Now, of course, everyone out there watching, Ted, Sharina, and Rocky doesn't have flower beds of ease every day. We do have those difficult days where, we've been trying to push this closing and, things just kind of didn't go our way. A client is being of course, checking in. Hey, Ted, what's going on with it? I thought everything was going smooth. Well, this is the hiccup. So we do have things that happen in our lives, but I think overall, we should be people like you two are saying that is very mindful of the relationship we're building at all times. Mindful that if I didn't call you back at the time that I said, to apologize and then to not do that again. Just, that this is a relationship that's being built. This is not just business, but this is me looking out for you, for your family, for your interests. I told my one investor, I was researching this one property. I said, no, we're not even doing it. It's so much illegal stuff going on with this property. we aren't touching the property. And I'm making that executive decision. And if you want to purchase this property, I won't be your agent. That's how, kind of finagled the property was. So I think looking out for our clients' best interests, from mortgage to title to appraisal, hopefully appraisal, but looking out for, we won't talk about appraisals. They are not on tonight. I know they do their job the best that they can, but just making sure that we keep clients at the forefront of our mind and we lead with heart. So before we end tonight's program, I always like to take a moment to kind of talk a little bit about our reason why. Ted grew up, he was a young boy, maybe he went to college, you grew up with a certain plan, and you've decided to thrive as a mortgage broker. What is your reason why, Ted?
My reason why.
Yeah,
I,
I know,
I
right?
love this question. I have a love-hate relationship with this question, because it sounds hokey when it comes out, but my family, my relationships are my reason why. Obviously, this what I do feeds me intrinsically, soulfully, spiritually. I am a man of faith, so that's always going to be a driving force for me. But my why is my family and friends, and to do the things that I want to do and to give back to the world. I want to change people's lives, which is why I think all of us are in this business. It's not about the money, like Rocky mentioned earlier. We are changing people's lives on a daily basis and making an impact that has a ripple effect. Remember, housing is the basic foundation of all neighborhoods, all communities. And so when we are in there getting people into homes, building neighborhoods and communities, we are impacting our whole state, our whole area, our whole country. And so I really feel very strongly that what we do makes a huge difference in the lives of everybody.
That was like a presidential speech, Rocky. Ted, you have my vote. You have it.
God help
You've
us
got
all.
my
That
vote.
is not the ministry God has me for. Thank God. All right.
Rocky, what is your reason why?
Well, like Ted said, it's destined. Our why is to really make a difference and change lives. And for me, what keeps me going is definitely my family and my friends, my support system. For me, I as well is I want to, when I say change lives, not just help people when it comes to buying and selling and achieving those goals. It's those little wins that really just like fulfill me and bring me so much joy. But also, something that I've really pivoted in the last 3 years, I'd say, is really investing in my fellow agents and affiliates as well. It's like I want to see growth. I want to help people grow, whether it's buying, selling, or growing in leadership or things like that. That's what makes me so happy, is to be able to look and say, I knew you could do it. I knew it, and because a lot of people doubt themselves, whether, in any aspect of life, people carry a lot of doubt, but they just need one person to see something that they don't see. And when we achieve that goal, I kid you not, it makes me so happy, and it's so fulfilling. And I'm that person that's crying at the table with you. I'm like, yes, we did it. And they're like, it's not even my house, but I'm excited for you. you know.
I love it. I love the why for both of you guys, and just sitting here thinking about my why. My why is to hopefully see others live out their why, and I think that for me, when I was tied to the 9 to 5, really not able to enjoy my family like I wanted to, and then not making enough to really just enjoy life, it was a blessing to be able to have a job, to be able to pay my bills, but then a burden at the same time, not being able to fully enjoy life and live out my why. I was watching this TikTok, you guys, and there was this family who struggled for, it was either 3 years or 5 years, and they sacrificed, they rehabbed properties, and they really put every dime that they had into investing in real estate. And in the video, it basically showed like a montage of them spending time with their kids now, and they're free from their 9 to 5. They have $2.5 million worth of real estate. They use debt to free them. Like, debt is not always a bad thing, you guys. There is a such thing as positive debt and negative debt, but they use debt to leverage their freedom, and they're making $30,000 a month, even though they have, debt. They're bringing that in every month to take care of their lives, to be able to spend time with their kids. Their kids are so small, maybe 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there, their children. And so I really want to help you to see the power of investing in real estate, you guys, and how it can free you up. Like my why, of course, is, I want to help you to buy real estate. But then my bigger why is to go into the schools and encourage young ladies, because I was one who tried to take my life. I was one who was victim of a very gruesome crime, a violent crime is what I was a victim of when I was younger. So my reason why is going into schools and being able to encourage young ladies and young men to be able to have my pink RV where neighborhood girls come on in, and I talk to them about the value of positivity and treating their bodies with love and respect. So while I'm helping you to invest in real estate, I want to see you to be free enough to be able to live out your reason why, instead of, two jobs. I'm working a day, I'm working a night, I can't get my days together, and then at the end of the day I'm paying all my bills, I'm missing my children, still no vacation, barely making ends meet. I grew up in that situation, and I want to see people be able to live differently. So my why is definitely to see others financially free to be able to live out their why, because we only have so much time in the earth, you guys. Not to get so super deep, but we only have so much time. So I want to see you live your time wisely, to live your time freely, and to just authentically be yourself, and to fully give the world you. Because to not give the world you is to cheat them out of jewels. I mean, you are so awesome. And sometimes it's covered up with everything you're going through. So that is my why, you guys. That is my why.
I
Aiden
love
said,
that.
unashamed of one's faith and a materialistic yes, yes, to live out our why. And so we appreciate the questions on tonight. Thank you to everyone who commented. Is there something else you'd like to say, Ted?
Oh my word. No, I love this. This was amazing. I think that you all, anybody who's out there who's listening to the news, please don't be afraid of the real estate market. Get with a professional like Rocky and Sharina or me, or anyone out there who's a professional, and really talk through it, because it's not as scary out there as you probably are told, and that you're reading all over the place. And I think you're missing out if you just continue to wait and feed into the fear. So that's my message.
I agree. I agree, Ted. They have this funny TikTok out there that has the interest rates at 8%, and this one person is running, and then it goes down to 7%, and two more people are running, and it goes down to basically lower and lower. And all of these people are going after the one home, because
Mhm.
the interest rates are lowered. So, I mean, either way, you guys, we're going to pay something, but at least, I mean, you marry the home, but you date the rate. So at least if you get the rate now, when the rate is lower, am I right, Ted? You can refinance and get a lower rate.
Yeah, I think rates will eventually shift some. What I don't want anyone to do is get into a rate at 7, 7.5, and think that next year they're going to refi at 2%. So just be realistic about that. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of people think when they hear marry the house, or date the rate and marry the house, or whatever it is, or the payment. Just be careful, because it'll go down and it's going to fluctuate. I'm not sure we'll ever see 2 point whatever rates again. So don't think that in your brain. Be very realistic and work with your professionals to get you across the finish line. And then continue to work with the professional to check in on that, because they do come down and they do fluctuate.
Yes, yes. Any words, Rocky?
I mean, I think you guys said it best, but I do agree. I think, if buying or selling is something you're thinking about doing right now, investing as well, if it's something you're thinking about doing, reach out to one of us or reach out to someone that you know that has experience in in either one of those areas, and ask questions. You don't know what you don't know, right? And again, like Ted said, listen, interest rates are a little wild right now, but there are ways to be creative,
That's correct.
and it's all about finding somebody who is creative
That's right.
and knows the whole alphabet like us. No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
right.
There's
Yes.
a solution. No, but yeah,
Sitting right in front of you in that little corner over there, that beautiful little lady right there is the solution to your problem. So go
Sharina,
ahead
you
and
too.
give Rocky
I'm blessed.
give Rocky a call. Shout out your number, Rocky. I'm about to type it right here in the comments.
Oh yes, my phone number, and this is I only have one phone. It's not two phones. It's 407-738-7989.
All right. Give Rocky a call. All right, Ted, I'm about to put your number right here in the comments. Go ahead and shout it out.
My number is, I only have one too, because that's all I need, is 407-810-5670.
Awesome. All right, I'll put their number in the comments, you guys. If you have any further questions, please reach out to Ted. Please reach out to Rocky. If you're looking to invest in real estate, I'd love to find your next duplex, triplex, quad, or even single family if you'd like to go that route. So if you're looking to invest in real estate, I'm your girl as well. So don't forget, you guys, invest. September the 27th is coming up with the Women's Council Orlando Regional. We have some amazing speakers, Jason Rutland, Chris Rich, Derek Carmichael, Bobby Joe Justice, and we have one other guest we're confirming. So mark the date, you guys, 11 to 1:30, September the 27th, learning how to invest in real estate. I also have my tutorial guide that is coming out in the next 30, 60 days. I'm just trying to make sure that it is good to release. I don't want to release it, half-hearted. I don't want to release it before it's finished, but it's how to retire through investing in real estate. And so I'm putting together a video tutorial. The next page will have words. I want you guys to answer questions. I want it to be interactive for you. So it's almost a course, and it's absolutely free that I'm putting together, all to help you to learn more strategies about investing in real estate. So stay tuned for that as well. On Mondays, I am live from 6 to about 7 p.m. answering real estate questions with real estate experts. Please come on next Monday. Every Monday, I have some amazing guests and experts who are here to answer your questions. To my guests who are on, stay right there for our post show. But all right, we're going to let you guys go. Have a blessed evening.
Bye,